Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Nicole Porter, Vice President of Political Affairs for U.S. Travel Association. We are thrilled to welcome you to Washington, D.C. next week as we join over 350 travel advocates on Capitol Hill. This is our industry's opportunity to show Congress how travel plays an essential role in showcasing America's greatness. Thank you for being a part of this year's Destination Capitol Hill and helping amplify our collective voice. We have a lot we want to cover today, so I'm going to go ahead and jump right into it before I turn things over to Tori Barnes and Eric Hansen to cover our policy priorities and do a deep dive into what we'll be asking Congress while you're here next week. Today, we're going to cover our program overview. We will set the stage and cover talking points and the ask that you're taking to the Hill on behalf of the entire industry. We will talk about your Hill meetings and offer some friendly reminders. We will then be joined by Eliza Megashar from Advocacy Associates to talk about your schedules and the Advocacy Day app. We'll also leave room for Q&A. First, let me give a quick overview of what you can expect during Tuesday's programming. We'll be joined by Scott Jennings, CNN contributor and former U.S. presidential advisor, to discuss the political landscape in Washington and navigating the Republican trifecta in the House, Senate, and the White House. We will also have additional programming that will include an advocacy breakdown with our best-in-class government relations team to overview the balance of power in Washington and doing a deep dive into our policy agenda and our 2025 DCH legislative ask. We will also have a conversation with industry leaders, Julie Coker, CEO of New York City Tourism and Conventions, Ron Price, CEO of Visit Phoenix, and Evan Peck, Vice President of Federal Government Relations for Chase Travel, on the importance of relationship building and the power of advocacy. Additionally, we'll have a fireside chat with former Leadership Hill staffers on why staff meetings matter and how they move the needle in Washington. All of our congressional champions have also been invited to join us on Tuesday. They include Congressman Mario Diaz-Balart from Florida 25, Congresswoman Kathy Castor from Florida 14, both who are great champions from the state of Florida. We also have Senator Jerry Moran from Kansas and Senator Gary Peters from Michigan. We're excited to celebrate all four of these champions and honor their leadership on behalf of our industry. And of course, we'll have lots of opportunities for networking with your delegation and peers, including our welcome reception that immediately follows the afternoon program. Now, I'm excited to hand things over to Tori Barnes, our Executive Vice President of Public Affairs and Policy, and Eric Hansen, our Senior Vice President of Government Relations, to help get you up to speed on all things policy. Eric and Tori?
Thanks, Nicole, and thank you all for joining us today. We're excited to have spring in Washington here finally, and excited for you all to join. I think during peak cherry blossom season here. We'll be just at the end of the peak, but hopefully we'll have some blooms for you here, and lots of tour buses, which mean a lot of folks traveling to DC, which is excellent. Wanted to talk a little bit today about where we are from a DC standpoint and how we're thinking about moving our agenda and how important it is for you to be a part of that when you're up here in Washington, both as we've crafted collectively these priorities and as we seek to advance them for the industry overall. So I think something that folks are very well aware of is that we are having a Republican trifecta here in DC coming out of the 24 elections with President Donald J. Trump in the White House. We have very slim margins in the House and Senate with 53 Republicans and 47 Democrats in the Senate, and a very, very slim majority with 218 Republicans and 213 Democrats in the House. All of this means things are very, very narrow, and that means that in some cases, compromise is possible. I think two things really to highlight as we talk through what our industry means is we've been taking a very much play offense approach and seeking how we really make travel a national policy priority, both from an administration standpoint and from a congressional standpoint. And so the things that we really want to underscore here are how the collective industry, not just one segment or another, but really how airports and airlines, hotels, attractions, destinations, we are all united. And we have a shared commitment to really connecting people everywhere, to showcase the country that we love. We also want to underscore that travel fuels opportunity, that our industry strengthens communities across the country, and that we drive tremendous impact to the American economy. In 2023, travelers in the United States spent 1.3 trillion, which produced an economic footprint of 2.9 trillion, and that supported 15 million American jobs. We also know that there have been challenges, and it's not challenges that we are facing right now, which are certainly here, and we'll talk about those after we walk through our asks. But we have for a long time been losing our share of long-haul travelers. Since 2000, we've lost 41%. With international visitation still lagging, having peaked in 2018. What we've been saying and what we know as an industry is that outdated infrastructure, excessive screening and customs lines, and delays in visitor visa processing really do send a negative message to the world, and that America is falling behind. We are viewing, and we know that Congress is an absolutely essential partner to create a seamless, reliable travel system. And we really want to capitalize on the historic opportunities ahead. And that's why, as we talk about showcasing America's greatness to the world, we are really leaning in on the mega decade of events yet to come. Next slide, please. So a lot of the priorities that come out of the commission work that we are taking to Capitol Hill really utilize the next 4 years as a catalyst, with America hosting the World Cup, or the Club World Cup this year, America 250, and the 26th FIFA World Cup next year, and the 28 Olympics in 28. And with the right policies in place, these events can welcome 40 million international visitors and drive $100 billion of economic activity into this country. And so as we approach this mega decade of events, we really are calling on Congress and the administration to use this historic opportunity to fix these challenges and really showcase America's greatness to the world. So with that, I'm going to ask Eric to talk through the policy priorities that we're going to take specifically to the Capitol Hill when you all are here next week, and then we'll be happy to answer some questions. So Eric, over to you.
Thanks, Tori. First, on the next slide, I wanted to give you a sense of our overall congressional agenda, the 5 crucial steps that we're pushing Congress to make over the next 2 years. Now, this is a broader list of congressional priorities that we'll have in your packets. It's not the full list of policies that we're going to focus on during the meetings, but we wanted to give you a sense that we do have a much broader agenda that we're going to be advocating for. So they fall really under 5 main categories. The first is creating a world-class airport customs process. The second is bolstering economic growth and competitiveness for travel businesses and workers. So this includes things like H-2B visas, but also tax policies that can help DMOs compete, that can help travel businesses compete in a very competitive global economy. And then third is strengthening security and reducing bureaucratic delays for visitor visa processing. That's absolutely something we're going to raise in the meetings, but we have a long set of priorities there. Fourth is to make investments in security technology to revolutionize the TSA screening process. It'll be a big priority of ours throughout the next 2 years. You're not going to see it in your DCH package because there's nothing really timely moving related to TSA, but that's a big goal of ours for this Congress. And then lastly, growing investments in travel mobility and infrastructure. Again, it's not going to be a huge focus of what we're going to raise during DCH meetings, but we do expect over the next 2 years Congress to take up another infrastructure bill. So that's a priority that we have in that broader set of policies that we'll be pushing for. So on the next slide, for DCH itself, we really want to hone in and focus on the legislative asks that are timely and that relate to preparing for the major global events that we're hosting here in the United States. I know that many of you will be representing areas that are host to these major events, whether it's America 250, the Club World Cup, or the World Cup. But mostly, there are, I think, long-term improvements we can make to the travel experience, and we can do it in the next 2 years to prepare for these events, but they'll have a lasting impact on the industry. So even if you come from a state or city that does not represent one of these areas hosting these major events, these are permanent improvements to the travel process we think that'll benefit everyone. So here's where we're going to focus in the DCH meetings. The first thing we need to do to prepare for the events is be prepared to welcome the world through a secure and efficient visa process. What we know is that the State Department is already struggling to meet demand for visitor visas. And as this mega decade of events is coming, it's likely that they're going to be overwhelmed by a surge of applicants. So we have to make investments now. Even for 2026, we expect 6 million visitors coming for the World Cup. About more than half of them are going to require a visitor visa to enter the United States. And what we're seeing is that many of these top countries for travel for the World Cup already have wait times of more than 100 days to more than a year. India right now, the average wait times are 444 days. In Colombia's wait times for a visitor visa interview are 700 days. So if you're in Colombia, it's actually already too late for you to get a visitor visa to come to the United States unless we take action quickly. So our ask is for Congress to appropriate $491 million in visa fees that we've already collected. They're sitting in a trust fund, and we want to allow the State Department to use those fees to surge staffing, extend hours of operation, and increase processing capacity ahead of these major events that are coming in the next 4 years. On the next slide, we also need a modern, safe, and secure air travel system. And right now, what we're experiencing is a system that can't even meet current demand, let alone prepare for future demand. Last year, TSA screened 3 million passengers in a single day, and they did it twice. It was the only 2 times that they've done that in their entire history. But we're projected to actually have 100 days, 3 million passengers or more by 2028. That's just 4 years from now. So that's almost like 100 days of Thanksgiving travel that TSA is going to need to prepare for. That's the type of demand we have coming into our system. CBP staffing shortages are already causing 1 to 2 hour wait times for people who have just gotten off a 14-hour flight to come to the United States. The last thing you want to do is wait 1 to 2 hours. And CBP is actually turning away some new international routes because they don't have the staff to process them. And then for FAA, we're short 2,000 to 3,000 air traffic controllers. The air traffic control towers themselves are using radar-based technology, paper strips. It's outdated technology that really can't allow the system to grow unless we make modernization fast. So our asks to modernize the air travel system are first for Congress to provide funding for 2,000 additional CBP officers for our nation's airports. We have a huge opportunity to do that in the upcoming reconciliation bill. Second, we want them to appropriate $600 million to complete biometric exit. So this is the system that allows us not only to know who's coming into the country, which is biometric entry, but who's exiting the country through biometric exit. We only have 50% of passengers leaving the United States using biometric exit now. And if we can get that program in place within 2 years with this $600 million investment, not only will it make our borders more secure, but it's also going to unlock opportunities to expand the visa waiver program, which is a key reason why we're pushing for that policy. And then lastly, for air traffic control, this is an issue that's plagued the United States for decades. We're asking Congress to front load investment in air traffic control technology and staffing, and to do that by treating ATC investments as mandatory spending, not discretionary spending. As you all probably know, discretionary spending has limits on it. You are required to go back to Congress year over year. It's unpredictable. What we want to be able to do is allow FAA to make investments right out of the trust fund without going to Congress so they can quickly make the modernization that they need. So also protect FAA from shutdowns. So that's our big ask this year to modernize the FAA. And then third, we have 4 policies under this category is to prepare to showcase America. First and foremost, restoring our national parks, ensuring we have staffing to meet the growing level of visitors that visit our national parks each year. National parks already generate $56 billion, and in 2024, they had 332 million international and domestic visitors who came to our parks. It was their highest visitation in history. As America 250 approaches, we know that's only going to grow. There's going to be great interest in visiting our national parks. Unfortunately, staff for the national parks has actually decreased by 20% over the last 15 years, while we've seen visitation rise again and again and again. And that's really why we have that growing backlog of maintenance projects and really our parks in disrepair. If they're the crown jewels of the United States, we can't have them falling out of the crown for America 250. And so we're asking Congress to support reauthorization of the bipartisan Great American Outdoors Act, which will help reduce the backlog and maintenance that we're seeing in our parks and increase staff so we're prepared for these upcoming events. We also need to make sure that we're maximizing international visitation and that we're encouraging visitors who come to the United States from abroad to visit all regions of the country, not just the host cities for these major events. And Brand USA is really going to be the important organization that's taking on that work. As you all know, Brand USA was created by the Bipartisan Travel Promotion Act. It's mandated to promote travel, international travel to all parts of the United States. And it's also mandated to provide information about the visa and entry requirements so that international visitors can come here and they know what the requirements are so that they stay within the framework of the law. And then it's the best part of this is that it's not funded by any taxpayer dollars. It's funded by fees paid by foreign visitors coming from visa waiver program countries, and then a combination of private sector contributions, so the industry putting skin in the game. So if we're going to make sure that we drive the maximum amount of visitors, that they see the entire United States while they're here, we have to protect Brand USA. And so we're asking Congress to keep those ESTA fees dedicated to Brand USA and to oppose diverting them for unrelated programs, to pay for things that are unrelated to U.S. travel, to international visitation. And that's going to be one of the most important asks that we have to keep that program operating for the next 2 years. For number 3, we want to make sure that we have strong federal leadership in place for the upcoming decade of events. As you all know, the U.S. is the only G20 country without a cabinet-level tourism official in charge of travel and tourism policy. Congress established an Assistant Secretary of Travel and Tourism within the Department of Commerce. However, that office hasn't been established yet. No one has been nominated for that role. And so we need to make sure that we can stand that up soon so we have a stronger federal leader to help oversee efforts to prepare for this upcoming decade of events. So we're asking Congress to provide $3.5 million in the FY26 CJS bill to stand up the office of the Assistant Secretary, nominate someone to that role, and make sure that we have stronger federal leadership in place for these upcoming events. And then lastly, we need to prepare the industry to succeed so that we have the right amount of staffing to efficiently handle and to have the hospitality that's required for the influx of international visitors who we know are coming for these events. There is the H-2B program, which is something that is a temporary seasonal worker program. Travel businesses across the country rely on it. Unfortunately, it's been capped at 66,000 annual H-2B visas, and that hasn't been increased since 1992. It's oversubscribed each year with 40 million international visitors coming, tremendous workforce needs to accommodate that level of travel. We're asking Congress to increase the H-2B cap for hospitality roles ahead of this decade of major events. So those are the main priorities that we'll be pushing for in these meetings. We do think that it's going to be difficult to get through all of them in a very short amount of time. So we tried to stack them in priority order, but we'll also have an immediate next steps document in the folders and materials that we're sending to Capitol Hill. So even if you don't make it to every single priority on that list, the staffers will have the background they need and the next steps that their members can take to support the industry. So with that, we're happy to open it up for Q&A.
Eric and Tori, a question that came in from Jeff Samuels is, last year we were being pressed for nominee names for the Assistant Secretary position during meetings. Do we have a handle on this list this year?
I mean, I think I would say, you know, and Eric, feel free to jump in, please, but, you know, we are in a new administration. There, you know, have been nominating and and confirming folks at the top levels of different agencies. We did have a good meeting with the White House last week where there was interest in thinking about how they might fill this position. But I would say that as of right now, we are having conversations around the importance of it, but don't have a short list.
Great, thanks.
Well,
Eric, did you want to jump in?
there's a related question underneath about whether or not we got the funding for FY25. We did get the funding for the office, and that funding is still eligible to be used during the short-term CR that we have to September. So if the administration is ready to nominate someone and the Senate can confirm them, we will have the funding in place for them to start the office in FY25.
Okay, how much does federal workforce discussion factor into the priorities, particularly with MPS, USFS, and BLM?
Yeah, that's a great question. A lot of the, or most of the probationary and other workers who were let go from these agencies have been reinstated. That's a little bit in flux now, but what we are hearing is that for the Department of Interior and for many of those agencies that that you mentioned, the future staffing is going to be really where the challenge is. Can the National Parks Department, for example, hire more staff between now and then with the federal hiring freeze? So that has to be handled through the appropriations process or through authorization. So the Great American Outdoors Act can help with that. There's also the Restore Our Parks Act, which is something that'll be in your leave behind packets. That bill is just in the Senate, but that would authorize additional hiring for national parks. So we do address that, but largely those folks who were let go are being brought back. I think what we want to focus on for these meetings are the ability for these agencies to hire in the future.
Can you hit on the target number for increasing H-2B visas?
We'd like to at least double the amount of H-2B visas that are available. Right now, we do allow returning workers to be exempt. So there are about 100 and I think it's 30,000 each year, 120,000 each year that are allowed to come and work under the temporary worker program. We'd like to see Congress at least double that. So that's the request.
I think this might be a good opportunity to bring up the rhetoric and sentiment around the United States and travel from Canada. Eric and Tori, if you want to, if you want to read that entire question from Marcus, if you want to share that, or just kind of get into what we're saying on our end.
So, I mean, I think we've been hearing from a lot of folks, the concern about the Canadian travel to the US, obviously, our top source market. And, this is something that we are tracking. We are watching the data. We are looking at the real data now that we're starting to see some. And, we are concerned. I think our view is, making sure that we share the concern and what we're seeing, in particular with Republican members of Congress, I think in particular in the Senate, and making them just aware of what we're seeing in communities and reminding folks that international travelers coming to the United States are a positive impact on the trade balance. They drive economic impact in communities and also and they also help create jobs here in the United States. I think we're taking a very measured approach because of the robust agenda items that Eric really outlined and our focus on being able to grow travel broadly and improve the system for Americans. So we will talk through in the programming and have some suggested responses for you all to be able to use in meetings. But just know that we are focused on a proactive agenda, highlighting again where there are challenges and concerns, but driving for the opportunities before us with this mega decade of events and the need for a welcoming message to ensure that we optimize that opportunity.
Great. I'm going to jump in on a question about packet pickup if you're not attending the briefing on the 1st. Completely understand if you can't make it to the program on the 1st, but for those who can, please, it's important. But we can definitely coordinate pickup for your packets at the Westin. So please reach out to me directly if you need to pick up your packets and you're not attending programming. There's also, and I'll touch on this in a few minutes, programming on Wednesday morning, April 2nd, where we'll be doing kind of a recap of the legislative ask and just answer any last minute questions. So you could also pick it up there. But if you could reach out to me directly if you need to coordinate packet pickup, that would be great. Are there any, if you have any other questions for Eric and Tori, if you could put them in the chat, we'll give it just another second. Otherwise we'll move forward with some other details. All right, well, thanks, Eric and Tori. More to come with them on April 1st and the rest of our government relations team. So thank you both so much. And if we missed any questions, if we didn't answer any questions, we will circle back with you either later today or tomorrow. Now, I just want to cover a few things to expect on Wednesday. Some general housekeeping items for Wednesday morning, like I just mentioned, there will be breakfast and there is additional programming that morning. It's really just a great opportunity to make sure you're meeting with your teams, that you're getting any answers to your last minute questions about the legislative ask, priorities, and any other logistical questions. So Wednesday morning is important if you can be there. Also this year, again, we will have transportation to the Hill. And so if you are planning on departing anytime from 8 o'clock on, that those buses will start departing at 8 o'clock. I'm also excited to share that we will have the home base on the Hill again this year. It's backed by popular demand and thanks to Miles Partnership. And also thanks to Miles, we are also providing a luggage drop this year on the Hill at home base. So if you are heading to the airport right after your Hill meetings, we're hoping this helps with some of those logistics. You are able to leave your bags at the Capitol Hill Club where the home base will be. We'll follow up with more details on this next week during the programming, but we'll hope you'll take advantage of dropping your bag and making it easy to hit the road off to the airport after your Hill meetings. We are also, again this year, working to do a group photo. We know that this is hard to always coordinate for everybody, just the way the Hill meetings are scheduled, but immediately following dropping your bags and getting the buses off. The buses, I should mention, are dropping off at the home base, which is just a few blocks away from the House office buildings and the House side of the Capitol. So we'll be aiming to do the group photo on the House Capitol steps, which is about a 5-minute walk from the home base, but more details to come so that you have all the specifics there when we see you next week. On attire for April 1st and 2nd, business or business casual for Tuesday is just great. And then on the 2nd, I would definitely plan on being business. And don't forget your comfy shoes because you will be getting your steps in. So just make sure to take care of your feet because you'll get those steps. I also just wanted to flag one last thing. We are working on an interview project with our communications consultant Story Partners. So you will see them on hand Wednesday morning to kind of collect a video interview series. I don't want you to be caught off guard by seeing them. They're great. They're working to really amplify travel's impact. It's a video series that will highlight the effects of outdated U.S. travel infrastructure on member businesses and associations. So you'll see them floating around. We're excited about this project. We have our communications team is happy to answer any questions on that, but please be on the lookout for that. And then just a few friendly reminders as you hit the Hill. Please don't bring any aerosols or non-aerosol spray unless it's for prescriptions. Don't bring food or beverages of any kind. However, we will have water bottles for you on April 1st to pick up. So you can take those to the hill and fill them up throughout the day. Don't bring weapons, of course. Don't bring any bag larger than the size you see below. And no gifts for members of Congress, please. Please bring those comfortable shoes, again, your business cards, your phone, your chargers, any notepad and notebook and pens, and then of course your folder that you'll be receiving from us and extra materials. We'll have the tote bags again this year, and we actually have some fun swag that we will be handing out on the Hill with your help, and some stress balls. So we're excited to leave those with the Hill offices. Real quick on meeting flow, I know not everyone has been to the Hill before in these meetings, so just a quick recap, a refresher for those who have gone, and just an overview for those who haven't. The meetings are, you just want to open up the meeting with a quick thank you, of course, to the member or staff joining. Give brief introductions of yourself so they know who's in the room, and set the stage. Show our numbers, show how impactful the industry is, and assign one person to review each ask. Ahead of time. You'll be meeting with your teams. You'll have opportunity to meet with your teams on the 1st and the morning of the 2nd. So kind of run through how that makes sense. There might be one member of your team more comfortable to talk about one issue than another. So you can work on that together and break out the best way to share those asks with the offices. And share your story, of course. Share your story that impacts the industry and why the industry means so much to you. But let's please try to stick with industry priorities and not stray off to personal grievances or personal goals as well. So we want to make sure we're maintaining one voice on the Hill. And let us know where we need to follow up, or any important notes. You'll have the opportunity to put those notes in your app. Also, we'll be all over the place. You'll have some staff assigned to you in some meetings. So just let us know where we need to follow up. Make sure you're flagging. And then engage on social media. We want to see you. We want the Hill to see us. We want to make sure we're amplifying our voice through social media. Eric, if you could switch slides, please. Our hashtag is DCH25. So please use that far and wide. Take photos of your delegation at Hill meetings. Take photos around the Hill. Like Tori mentioned, you're going to be here at peak cherry blossom season. So take those pictures too and share those with us. And make sure you're thanking your members of Congress on social as well. We'll provide, and we will be providing sample social media posts for you to use on Facebook, X, Instagram, LinkedIn. They're here. They'll also be in your app. They'll be in the Know Before You Go. And so just utilize these as much as you can. And now I'm excited, and real quick, actually, before I pass things on to Eliza with Advocacy Associates, I just mentioned the Know Before You Go note. The Know Before You Go note is going out later today. It's going to have a lot of material in there for you, including the documents, supporting documents you need for your legislative ask, some talking points, our policy agenda, and a lot more. So be on the lookout for that later today. And there'll also be a recording of this webinar as well. But now I'm excited to kick things over to Eliza Megashar, who is the account executive from Advocacy Associates, who's going to do a quick overview on your schedules, your Advocacy Day app that you should have received an email on this morning. But she's going to break it all down for you. Eliza?
Okay, there we go. All right, thank you so much, Nicole, for passing that over to me. As she mentioned, I'm Eliza. Today I'll be walking you through the Advocacy Day app and its many features. And with that, let's get started. All right, this morning you should have received an email from Advocacy Day at advocacyassociates.com with basically all the instructions you'll need to download the app. If you're not seeing this email, please make sure you check your spam or your junk folder, as sometimes it ends up there. Within that email is going to be all the information you'll need to download the app. Basically, just follow that bullet point instructions and it'll walk you through step by step. Below it in the right-hand corner is a photo of the Advocacy Day app, just so you can see what you should be looking for in your app store. If you're having any issues at all during this login process, feel free to contact me using that support option at the bottom of your scheduling email. you guys don't have to worry about this since you are new to the app, but if you are a returning user, if you happen to have worked with us before, please make sure you have the most up-to-date version of the app before you try to log in, as sometimes that creates login issues. All right, so once you have the app and open it up, you're going to be asked a couple of things. One, to allow notifications and to access your location while using the app. So for both of these, please select allow. Next, you'll be taken to the login page. All you'll do here is enter the email address that you registered for the event for. And once you put that in, press the sign in button. You'll then be emailed a 6-digit code that you'll have to enter back into the Advocacy Day app. And once you get that in and press sign in, you'll be logged in and be able to see your schedule. And once you're in, you shouldn't really be logged out at all. If you do happen to get logged out, it's basically the same login process as before. And again, if you are having any issues while logging in, there is a support option. Just make sure you fill out that support ticket if you have any issues, and it'll go directly to me, and I'll get you help you get logged in. All right. So once you're logged into the app, you're going to see a schedule page that looks something similar to this. All of your confirmed meetings will have the times displayed, and any meetings that are still pending will show up as TBD. Once you're logged into the app, you're going to start getting notifications from us as well as those meetings get confirmed. Please note that all of the times of the meetings are going to be displayed in the time zone that you're currently in. So once you get into DC and open up the app, it'll automatically sync up with Eastern time. You might also notice a couple of badges associated with certain meetings. The first one is a meeting lead badge. This basically indicates that your organization has selected you to be a leader for this meeting. And the second one is a constituent badge, which indicates if you are a constituent of the meeting. You can also tap anywhere within the meeting page to be taken to the specific meeting page itself. And there, once you click into that, here at the top, it'll show you the office name, the date and time that you're meeting, and who you'll be speaking to within the office, as well as the office location. You can tap the map within the meeting to give you walking directions to the building that the meeting is in. This is super helpful if you've never been to the Capitol complex, as it can kind of get big, and don't underestimate how big the Capitol is. So this is a great resource if you've never been here before. All right, and below the map, you might see some bolded text. This is any meeting specific information that the office wanted relayed to you. So if you see anything here, it's super important that you give it a read, as that is something that the office wanted you to know. Next is the attendees tab, which will list all the attendees that would be joining you in that meeting. The attendees might also have those badges that we discussed earlier. In the talking points section, you're going to see all the talking points. In the Documents and Resources tab, that's going to house all of your meeting resources like talking point pages, fact sheets, and links. And if you're going to be speaking about a particular bill, you'll see that here in the bill section. Feel free to tap on that bill to get the information for it, including a bill summary, how that member has voted for it in the past, and a list of all of its current sponsors and co-sponsors. Below that will be the meeting report form. That will include a survey of questions on how you think your meeting went. Please make sure you take the time to fill out these for each of your meeting, as this info is sent back to your organization. You can also upload or take a photo of your meeting. Just tap the Add Photos button, and once you get in there, you'd be able to take a live photo or select one from your camera roll. You also have the ability to send thank you letters to the staffer that you met with. By clicking on that button, it'll basically pull up a pre-written script that you can edit and personalize as you see fit. It'll also autofill with the staffer that you met with. So once you got all of that, all of the customizations in there, you should be good to send it right away. We also have a check-in function, which is essentially an attendance function that we send back to the organization. So please make sure you check into your meeting either before or after it is complete. Next is the meeting notes. This is essentially a blank notepad. So if you weren't able to get everything across in your meeting report form, you can add any additional information here as well. Additionally, you can mark who from the member's office attended your meeting. This information is also sent back to the organization, so please make sure you fill this out. Lastly, you can create a social media post on any of these platforms. Those templates that were in the slideshow earlier, those are all going to be on here. So if you just click that button, it'll automatically fill up with those templates. All right, next is the legislators tab. Here you'll basically be able to pull up bios for the members' offices that you'll be meeting with. When you tap on their name, you'll get a profile that looks something similar to this, and it'll include your event bills with voting records and committee assignments. Next is the messages tab. Any updates to your schedule will come through here, as well as push notifications. So whether you have like a time change, location change, or even a new meeting confirmed on your schedule, these will all be reflected here, as well as your home screen. Next is the directory, which is essentially a master list of every attendee in the event. Next is the More tab. Here you'll basically find additional resources and documents, FAQs, but most importantly, our app support. If you have any questions or any concerns about meetings, just feel free to fill out a support ticket using that support button, and it'll go straight to me, and I'll be able to help you figure out whatever issues we have. All right, just a few quick reminders for you guys. Make sure you check your spam or junk folder if you didn't get that initial email from us. Again, our domain is @advocacyassociates.com. If you do see it in there, I would unmark it as spam because you will more than likely be getting a few more emails from us. And any day of changes will also be coming from that email as well. It is a busy time of year for Congress, so please give yourself at least 30 minutes to get through security and to navigate your ways to each office. If you think for any reason you're going to be late to a meeting day of, you can fill out a support ticket so I can alert the offices that you might be a bit late. Again, just a reminder that all of the time zones that you're in is where, sorry, I just messed up my words. The meeting times is based off the time zone that you're in, so that'll refresh once you get to DC. There is also a help number listed if you have any issues and prefer to call, and that will also go straight to me. Meetings will go anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. We usually have the times listed on the meeting homepage, but be sure to ask offices how much time they have to meet and make sure you adjust your talking points accordingly. Last thing is these schedules are ever changing, so please make sure you make sure to keep an eye on your schedules, especially even up to the day of, because people on the Hill are very busy right now, so schedules are very tend to move a lot. So yeah, make sure you keep an eye on those notifications, both from through the app, through push notifications and email notifications as well. All right. With that, that's basically everything from me. Does anyone have any questions?
Eliza, I've captured a few questions from the Q&A box, so I'll follow up with you on that so we can touch base with these folks.
Perfect.
Well, thank you so much. I've already seen a few notes that the app is popular, so thanks so much.
Wonderful. I will throw my email into the chat just in case anyone didn't get that initial email from me. So just feel free to shoot me an email if anyone needs help getting into the app.
Great. Thanks so much, Eliza. Appreciate it. And Eliza will be on site too, so we all get to meet her and she'll have a help desk on site as well. Alrighty, well, before we get going, I want to do a quick thank you to Eric, if we could. Oh, I know you guys were transitioning, sorry. A quick thank you to our amazing sponsors. Special shout out to our title sponsor, Chase Travel. And like I mentioned, Miles is providing the base camp again this year, or the home base again this year. So we're so excited to have that back for a place for snacks and to rest your feet. And oh, thanks, Eliza. Eliza's email is in the chat for everyone. And of course, I don't want to forget to thank all of our association partners who we just appreciate so much. And just a reminder, be on the lookout for that Know Before You Go email later this afternoon. And we are so excited to see you guys next week. Thanks so much for taking the time to join us for Destination Capitol Hill. We'll see you on the 1st. Reach out with any questions. Thank you.